Hi, welcome to Amanda's Book Corner. I'm Amanda, and this is my review of Sweethand by Peltier. This is the first in her Island Bites series. So let me just start off by saying why I first picked up this book. Look how cute the cover is. I was particularly drawn to the cat because I do love cats. My cat is right down here right now. The cake, I love cake, it's delicious. And this dude has headphones on. That means music's involved, and I love music. I love any fiction that has to do with music. I love anything at all that has to do with music. So this book is kind of an enemies to lovers book. It's about Therese and Kieran. Therese had previously come out of a long-term relationship with a musician who cheated on her. And so she's sworn off musicians for herself, and she's decided to stay single for the last year or so. Kieran, of course, he's in the music business. He's a music producer. Whereas Therese is a baker. She's a very successful baker who caters at weddings and other events in Trinidad. It's set in Trinidad. So these two have kind of been enemies since they were young, since they were teenagers maybe. They met when they were younger, and because of a conflict between two people that are close to them, they kind of picked their sides and became enemies, and they've really retained negative opinions of each other throughout their lives. They haven't really seen each other in a long time, but those old feelings of negativity are still there, just as strong as they were at least 10 years ago. Unfortunately for them, they now have to work together because Therese's sister is marrying one of Kieran's best friends. So he's the best man, she's the maid of honor, and they are gonna have to work together a lot in the upcoming months until the wedding. So I want to say one thing. This wedding party sounds exhausting, in my opinion. I've only been part of one wedding in my adult life, and that was my own. So I've never had to be a maid of honor or a bridesmaid or anything like that because none of my friends are married. But I don't know. My wedding was very low-key. Here in Sweethand, I don't know. These people have to do all kinds of stuff together. All kinds of little get-togethers and like doing crafts together and having a joint bachelor and bachelorette party, which Kieran and Therese have to organize together. In any case, because this wedding is it's a very busy and involved event, because of that really forces Therese and Kieran to spend a lot of time together, which is good for the purposes of this book. At the beginning, it starts off with a lot of negativity. Kieran makes a public comment, a joke, but a joke in bad taste, about Therese and her baking, which doesn't go over well, and she's quite offended, rightfully so. Meanwhile, Therese has a lot of negative assumptions about Kieran. There's a rumor going around about him, about something bad that happened with him and his ex-girlfriend, and she believes it to be true because it's similar to something that happened with his dad, and she doesn't even give him a chance to explain that maybe that's not actually what happened. So they go into this kind of on opposite ends. They really do act kind of like enemies, modern day, just don't like each other kind of enemies. But despite that, they do seem to have a physical attraction to each other. And as they start to spend more time with each other, they start to realize that maybe they're not so bad. Maybe they actually have some good qualities. Maybe there's a reason they have some friends in common. I like that they kind of begrudgingly get together, but once they do kind of start something with each other, they really do learn to trust and rely on each other in a certain way. Of course, especially on Therese's part, she has a lot of resistance to it, and she doesn't want to get into a real relationship with him, even though they're pretty cute together. Fireworks are flying. So I mentioned before that Kieran is a music producer. I thought that was really cool. I like how it kind of talks about music and kind of this field that I actually had wanted to get into. I actually wanted to be a music producer. I don't have any of the background really to get into that. I don't know how to produce music, but it was something that I dreamed about when I was younger, and I think it's really cool to see someone who is doing that. Interestingly, he works in a genre that I wasn't familiar with called soca, which originated in Trinidad and Tobago, which is where the book is set. So I always like to learn about new music genre. I'll have to check that out. One thing I like is this book kind of reverses gender norms in a certain way. Not dramatically, but enough that I noticed it. So for example, Therese, she swears like a sailor. She has a potty mouth, and maybe that's not so ladylike. Another thing is that she's not good with crafts. Although she's an excellent baker, when they're making these little flower crowns for a wedding event, She's horrible at it. In contrast, Kieran is actually quite good at this craft and making flower crowns. Another maybe like non-masculine thing you could say is like he's really good with animals. When he goes to her house, her cat named Jello, which is cute, but her cat goes right up to him and loves him. So I thought that was really cute how, you know, he has like more of that maybe like domestic side to him, or like nurturing side, which I thought was kind of cool. Another thing that I thought was really cool and unexpected, so when I looked at this book, I just assumed it was, you know, standard straight people romance, but I was pleasantly surprised to learn that Kieran is actually bisexual. He's not really out in the book. He's only had girlfriends, but I mean, one of his first crushes was on a guy that he is friends with, who is gay, by the way, but that didn't work out between them. But I think it's always good to see more LGBTQ plus representation, and actually this book has a lot of it. So it's not just Kieran, who is bisexual, and yes, he does end up in a relationship with Therese, who's a woman, but that's okay. But in addition to that, most of their friends are also queer in some way. And so, as I mentioned, this is the first in a series, the Island Bites series, and I would guess that the future books in the series will probably highlight these other characters, and so maybe one of them will be about Remy. Remy is into women, so I imagine that we'll have a woman-woman romance. And maybe Scott, for example, will have a romance of his own, and he's gay, so maybe we'll have a male-male romance. So I do expect that future installments in the series will kind of dive into more queer relationships, but it was really nice to see that Kieran is bisexual. I wasn't expecting it, but it was a pleasant surprise. So Sweethand was a really fun and light book. It was pretty breezy. It had some deeper topics, but overall I would say it was mostly breezy and fun, and it had some good banter and stuff, and I really enjoyed it. I flew through this whole book, so I would give it 4.5 stars, and I can't wait to read the rest of the series. As far as I know, nothing has been announced yet, but I can't wait until we learn when book number 2 will come out, because I'm totally ready to read it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell, all that good stuff, to get all my latest videos. I'll be publishing individual review videos for each book I read, so I'll probably be updating this channel at least once or twice a week. So keep coming back for more, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye!